Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're doing really great with your families at home. And this video is the feedback of session number 2 that teacher Raul and I sent you a few weeks ago. Okay, I'm going to share the document so we can review it together.
Okay, hello guys. I'm going to now share the document with you on your screens and we'll begin the feedback. Okay, so to begin with, we will go over the structure of the present perfect. The present perfect is used to talk about things, action that happened in the past, but we do not know when they happened, or it is not important to know when they happened. These actions also have a relationship with the present, okay? So, for example, I have read a book. I read a book in the past, but I don't know when, or you don't know when, or it's not relevant to know when I read it. It's relevant to know that I have read it. Yes? Okay, so the auxiliary verbs for the present perfect tense are have and has, and their negative forms, haven't and hasn't. We use the auxiliary verb have with the subjects I, you, we, and they. On the other hand, we use has and hasn't with the third person pronouns he, she, and it. So, for example, if I want to talk about something I did, I will be using I. Therefore, I need to use the auxiliary verb have. I have read a book. On the other hand, if I want to talk about something my dad did, my dad can be replaced by the third person pronoun he. Therefore, I need to use the auxiliary verb has. My dad has watched The Lord of the Rings. The same happens with haven't and hasn't. I haven't read a book. My dad or he hasn't watched The Lord of the Rings. Okay? Now, let's move on to the past participles, the verb form we use in the present perfect. As you know, in English, we have two kinds of verbs. The first kind of verb is regular verbs, and the second one is irregular verbs. For regular verbs, the past participle form is the base form of the verb and ed at the end. Okay, so for example, we have jump, which is the base form of the verb. We add ed, jumped. Another example, we have stop. We need to add ed, stopped, and that's the past participle form. Remember that when we add ed, we have certain rules, spelling rules, that you can look up in the internet. Now, for irregular verbs, these verbs do not follow a pattern, okay? So, to know the past participle form, we need to look them up in the list of irregular verbs, okay? This is the list of irregular verbs. And the past participle form is the last column of our list, okay? So, an easy way to know whether a verb is irregular or regular is memorizing the list of irregular verbs. Because if a verb is in the list, then it means it's irregular and you have the past participle form on the third column. If a verb is not on the list, that means it is regular. So you need the base form and ed at the end. Okay? Now, let's go over some exercises. So here we have complete the sentence with affirmative or negative present perfect form of the verbs in parentheses. And we have our example. I've read a book 3 times because we have read and positive. And Roberta hasn't met Diego. We have meet and negative, okay? So, number 1, Dad has lost his glasses again. So, first of all, Dad, third person, he. That's why we use has. Now, lose is an irregular verb. So we look lose in the list of regular verbs, and we discover that the past participle form of lose is lost. So we use lost. Dad has lost his glasses again. Number 2, we haven't seen this movie before. So again, we have we. What auxiliary verbs we use with we? We use have. In this case, we need a negative sentence. So we use haven't. And the past participle form of see is seen. Number 3, Beth has bought some new shoes. Again, Beth can be replaced by the third person pronoun she, and the past participle form of buy is bought. Beth has bought. Number 4, I haven't done all my homework. Again, we need to use have or haven't. In this case, we need a negative sentence, so we use haven't. And the past participle form of do is done. I haven't done. Number 5, my uncle has been on TV. My uncle can be replaced by he. And the past participle form of be is been. My uncle has been on TV. And finally, number 6, you haven't heard her new song. Again, you, we use have. In this case, we need a negative sentence, so we use haven't. And the past participle form of hear is heard. You haven't heard her new song. Now try to check the second activity on your own, following what I just explained. Okay? Now we're going back to Miss Anita.
We are going to continue with been and gone. Both are verbs in the past participle that we use in the present perfect. Been is the past participle of the verb be, and gone is the past participle of the verb go. We use been to talk about completed visits. For example, I have been to the park. It means that I went to the park and then I came back home. But if I have gone to the park, it means that I am still in the park. I haven't gone home. Okay, in this picture, it exemplifies the verb been and here the verb gone. Okay, here when we use been, it's because it's gone to point B and then come back to point A. But when we use gone, it means that I have gone from A to B and I am still in point B. Okay, now we're going to check the exercises. You had to complete with been and gone. For example, are Jack and Sarah at home? No, they have gone to the movie theater, and it means that they are still at the movie theater. Number 1, Jo loves Italy. She's been there 6 times. Number 2, where's Greta? She's gone to bed, and she's still sleeping. Number 3, my dad's gone to Chicago. He's staying there until Monday. He's still in Chicago. Number 4, Ben's been to Spain and he showed me his pictures. So he went to Spain and then came back home and now he's showing me the pictures. And number 5, is Mrs. Wilson in her office? No, she's gone to lunch. So it means that she's still in lunch.
Okay guys, so that was it for the feedback today. I hope you are doing really well. If you have any questions, please write to me or to Miss Anita and your questions and we'll be sure to answer them. So again, thank you very much and have a nice week.